Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the third ever bonus episode of the Two Player Co-op podcast. You know who we are. You're on Patreon. We don't need to go through the whole thing.
How are we doing?
How are we doing? Thank you guys so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/2playercoop. It does mean the world to us. Seriously. Thank you all so much. These episodes are always going to be a little bit different. They're not going to be as structured. It's just going to be something we want to talk about. We're going to talk about it. And I was also thinking, let us know. I think this would be a fun. We've always said how we could do like our own kind of Game Over Greggy show or something. These could be not video game related. They could just be us ranking mild sauces and stuff. You know, it might be a good outlet for that. But what we're going to do today.
Let us know what y'all want to see.
Yeah, at patreon.com/2playercoop. Tweet us, whatever you want. But in the spirit of the day that this is hopefully going up, October 31st, it's All Hallows Eve. It's Halloween. So we want to talk about some of the scariest games we've ever played. And I assume we both got our lists. I think there might be some crossover here.
I bet there's a lot.
The thing I was thinking, I was trying to go back, like, before, like, the 32-bit era. I was like, there's nothing.
I have one kind of wild card kind of game, and even that you may have.
The Charlie?
What?
Wild card.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Wild card! All right, I'll kick it off. I'm just going to go with the obvious. At the time it came out, it was probably one of the scariest games I've ever played is Resident Evil 7.
Yes.
I mean, the whole game, of course, the game kind of falls apart at the end. I won't get into spoilers here in case you haven't played it, but the first hour is insane. The first half of the game, I would even say, is great. And it's not like it's the best playing game ever or anything like that. It's just, it's so freaking scary and off-putting. And the family, like when you're in the house, it's one thing because Jack's always stalking you and everything. But then you get out and there's Marguerite and like her, that boss fight. It gives me nightmares just to think about it. The stuff with me at the beginning, it's just, and it's all because you were in that first-person perspective. I still haven't tried it in VR. Sean's got PSVR. At one time, I should just go over there and carve out an hour.
It's scary. Like, the part, mild spoiler, where Mia pops out and stabs
into
your
the wall.
Hand to the wall with like the screwdriver or whatever it is. Totally forgot about that because not long before that, there's like a jump scare. And I got through that. So I just started running like nobody's business, forgetting that there was another jump scare. And she just, bah! And I like literally like screamed. And I think it's maybe the first time I've ever audibly like gasped, like screamed from a video game before. It's turned down slightly just because the whole, the graphics aren't quite as good. But yeah, something about that game being first person, and it's the opening scene. I mean, the opening in like the guest house or whatever that is, and then it's even worse when you're in like the house with Jack chasing you and whatever, and then when you go out to like I don't know what it is, not where you fight Marguerite, but where you first are like
the greenhouse thing.
But not the
that's
greenhouse.
where you fight.
Yeah, but the other.
Oh, down by the dock of the bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up till about that part. Really, by the time you fight Marguerite, it's not really that scary anymore. It's just weird
and gross.
But the first, probably half of that game is just terrifying.
Yeah, Oh. The funny thing is, it's now been so long since I played that. Now I'm like, and don't tell me, because I don't remember. That's the garage door on our end, underneath the recording studio, if you can hear that. I don't remember why the hell Mia attacks. Like, I don't remember how she gets infected, or whatever the hell it was. I don't even remember why she goes crazy and attack comes at you with a chainsaw and stuff. And I like that. Now that I got my RE7 back from Paul, now I'm like, I do, and the fact that
I
I've
remember.
forgotten is
Yeah.
like I kind of now is a perfect time. Well, not now because Death Stranding and Jedi are about to come out, but pretty soon would be a great time to play through it before I remember what the hell happens.
Yeah. I think I maybe liked it better the second time. It
Really?
didn't have the same effect, but it was one of those things where going into it, I'm like, I know it's not as good at the end, so I was already kind of prepared for that.
Yeah,
And in being prepared for it, it didn't get as bad as I remembered.
Okay.
So I was like, well, this is actually a really good game. But yeah, it's absolutely terrifying.
yeah,
There's 2 logical
yep.
next games to do.
Choose your destiny.
I
I always feel like I'm slunched over. Slunched? That's not even a word. Slunched or slouched? I think is what I was going to say. So I slunched. I made up a new word.
I'll go Resident Evil 1.
Okay. Because you can add a lot more on this than I can.
Yeah. So, we had this on the Saturn back in 96.
96 or 5, I don't remember. No, it was 96. It was 96.
And so I knew about Resident Evil. I had never played it, but I knew basically what it was. And all the just terrible acting and everything else aside, probably just because I was a kid, I was like 11 or 12 years old. It was like, it doesn't matter how bad the acting is. If it's scary, it's scary. And that game scared the crap out of me. Even in like the first zombie you see when it's like, and he like turns around, I'm like, nope. And I would not play that game at night by myself.
Yeah.
I would play it at night if somebody else was around. I would play it during the day by myself, but I would not play that game at night by myself.
Yeah.
Oh, and we just moved on from... Oh, wait, no. Never mind. False alarm.
Did I skip something at 7?
Nope, I had a brain fart.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. Did you even really play that much?
The only thing, no, because I would run out of ribbon. I mean, I played a good bit. I probably played a couple hours, but then I suck at video games, so I went through all my ribbons, and I was like, well, I'm sorry.
Who does not wear the ribbon?
I had a pony. My sister had pony. My brother had pony. We all had ponies.
We went from the Puerto Rican guy to the Polish grandma.
Oh, yeah. Why did I... Same show.
To be fair,
it's fine.
my impression probably
It was
great.
bad. Yeah, you sounded more like the, I had a pony. Why do you not want to wear the ribbon? Then I just went into Russian. Okay. No, I played it, but all I really remember is that first with that crude like CG cutscene of him just turning around, and the dogs jumping through.
The dogs scared the crap out of me.
But does the game stay scary? Because in my mind, I'm like, it can't ever be that scary all the way through.
No,
kind of
there's
like
some
7.
there's some jump scares, but it's not
Okay.
just this overall like.
You threw a touchdown. Don't tell me it wasn't a Connor.
Connor 45. No, Deontay Johnson 45 yards. Is that good for a bonus, or does it have to be over 50?
40. 40, 60,
Bam!
80.
I'm back, baby. There's other just like jump scares, but to me, Resident Evil and now Resident Evil 7 peaked. You can't top the haunted house
Yeah.
motif. Like that's as good as it gets. You cannot top that, and that's why 1 was so scary, and that's why 7 was so scary. But yeah, once you leave that and you're like down in the labs and
Isn't there like a weird snake boss or something?
there's like a giant snake you fight a couple times.
See, I
There's
think
like
I might have gotten that far.
You fight him in the attic,
Okay.
and then you fight him again in the house later on. Because when you first fight him, you beat him, and he just kind of slithers away.
Okay.
But oh god, that game.
Yeah.
That game gave me the heebie-jeebies.
When I think of that game, I think and also the and the tank control and the tank controls made it scary. I think
it made it that
to
much
'cause you're
harder
like,
to maneuver, and
Jill's just going bink. Like, oh. Well, speaking of Resident Evil, we got to talk about RE2 remake, and thank you for leaving it to me.
that's why I was That's why I was like, oh my God, we went right through 7. We forgot to talk about the Tyrant.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, wrong game. Never mind.
Yeah, but it's so much more than Mr. X. It's like the game starts off. I still want to go back and play through Jill A, Leon B. I did Leon A, Jill B. Or Claire, sorry. Claire. I want to do Claire A, Leon B. Because I don't know if Claire's story will start.
You never even did a second playthrough, right?
No, I did Claire's, yeah. Okay. I did Leon Claire. I didn't go.
The one where you get like the true ending?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if you had done that. Yeah.
No spoilers, but it's on a train.
Yeah.
Like especially when you start off as Leon and you get to the gas station that for some reason he thinks he should go investigate. There's blood everywhere. There's fire. There's cars like smashed into stuff. I'm like, I would have just turned around and called for backup.
Yep.
I mean, he wasn't like it was his first day on the job, so he didn't have a radio yet or anything. But like, yeah, he could have gone to the cop car and got on the radio, I guess, or turn around. I don't know. Like, regardless, obviously, Resident Evil 2, it doesn't happen if he turns around, so I get it. But like,
was he even in a cop car? I'm trying to think.
No, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't.
Yeah.
So he would have had to get out to go to the cop car. But I mean, I'm sure
Okay.
it was like, I think it did it take place in 98? Do you remember? I know it came out in 98. I don't remember if... Oh, I did have a...
No, it takes place like right after the first one.
It does, okay. But still, cell phones were around. There's a good chance he might have had a Nokia flip or something.
Probably, yeah.
That he could call, like, 911, this gas station, there's blood everywhere and it's on fire. But...
Yeah.
When you go...
Except 911 would have just taken him to the police station where everybody's dead, you know.
That is correct. But you go in... From the second you get out of your car... The game never lets up. And I think it's my favorite Resident Evil game. I think it might be my game of the year still. But again, not to always keep bringing up Hamilton, but it's just like, it just stays here. It stays at a 9 the entire way. Whereas Resident Evil 7, that beginning is a 10. And then it probably drips a little bit. And then when you get to the end, it's like down to like a 5.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Resident Evil 2 doesn't drop. And we're not reviewing the game. We're talking about scariness, but still.
Yeah. For some reason, Resident Evil 2, I think of it differently compared to 7, but I'm not really sure why. Like, Resident Evil 2, I think of as more like jump scares, but then there's also that feeling of like, I remember being scared playing it, but it's almost like the fear of like never knowing that there's going to be something else that's about to happen that scares you. Whereas Resident Evil 7 was more just this... It's not like I was worried about, oh God, what's the next thing going to be that's going to scare me? Even when I knew Jack was going to...
Yeah.
There's just this overall like uneasiness about it. And maybe it's because it seems, as stupid as it sounds, it seems more realistic than just like zombies. Like 7 seemed more real and less real the further you get into it. But like... 2, I will say there is maybe nothing more terrifying in video games than hearing Mr. X's like footsteps and just, oh God. And no, like in the first game, it's like, oh God, he's following me. I can just leave the room and I'm probably okay. In this one, like it just seems like he just doesn't stop. Like there's no, it's actually terrifying.
So people hack the game and they pull the camera out, and if you're just sitting in a room, that dude is walking around the map. He doesn't just like unload, and then when you come out, the game's like, okay, put Mr. X here.
Really?
He is walking around that police station the entire time.
Oh, wow.
Which makes him even more terrifying. Not only that, it breaks the Resident Evil convention of when you think you're safe. Well, I mean, when you're in save rooms, you're safe.
Yeah.
But that dude could be right outside that door. But also, when you go back to the police hall where you can save, I remember the first time I ran back there, I was like, okay, it's safe. Okay. And then I was like, what? No, you're not allowed in here. Why are you doing this? Like, I expected the normal zombies because they were there when you come in, but you can kill them all and just get rid of them. If you pop them in the head or whatever, you make sure they're dead. And there was the ammo was so scarce. I feel like it was this way in 7 too. It's just been so long since I played it until you get to the end, and then it's just a shoot 'em up. But Like the ammo's so scarce, it makes you think, like, if you're Claire, do I really want to use these fire grenades or should I save it for later in the game? If you're Leon, do you want to use your shotgun and blow their heads off, or do you want to save it for when the tyrant's chasing you? The tyrant is one of the most, he's probably the scariest thing I've ever seen in video games. Just period. Like,
well, that's why I don't like Nemesis as much as a lot of other people.
okay.
But now that I've seen what they did with 2, I hope they remake it.
Yeah.
Because really, I mean, they've already kind of done it now with 2, but like Nemesis is there when he's chasing you in the police station, Mr. X. That's basically what Resident Evil 3 is, essentially from start to finish. Like, he is always there. Now, Mr. X is definitely more prominent, I don't know, in RE2 Remake compared to the original.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems like in the original, there's only a handful of times where he shows up. This one, it seems like he's always, like, you never feel like he's not around somewhere. But Nemesis, I think I've only played through it once. It's literally, it seems like he's just always on your tail.
Okay.
I think that game, there's a lot wrong with that game. But I think if they remade it,
A 3-make.
that would be terrifying. Remember when we were in here and we were talking about Zelda? I'm like, hey, look, I see a Triforce.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm looking here and I see the Umbrella logo. Did you see that? Light green, dark green, dark green, light green, dark green, light green. That's the Umbrella logo.
I can't get to that angle, but I can see how it could. Well, should be able to see it from over here. Oh yeah, I see it from over here.
You see it?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird. I love Resident Evil 2. I just love it. And then I think Resident Evil 2 gave me this just... The other thing was like, I feel like I was more uneasy going through doors in RE2 if it was a new area than I was in RE7. Because it seems like RE7, for the most part, it was just like, okay, it's Jack's in the house. Then you get outside, it's Marguerite. And she's always kind of there, but she's not like... I don't even remember. Yeah, I need to play RE7 again because I can barely remember.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So if you play RE7 again...
That's what it is.
If you play 7 again, play it on easy.
Okay.
Because it doesn't take away anything. It's still not easy per se, but I don't know if there's more ammo around or every time you pick up ammo, you just get more. Yeah. It's not like you have an unlimited amount, but you don't ever need to worry about running out. And it just makes it's just much more enjoyable. So, yeah, if you play through it again, play it on easy.
Okay. But, yeah, like going through doors, I was like, what's going to be on the other side of this? And then that first time when I went up the stairs and I'm walking down the hall and there's a window at the end of the hall and I just see, and I was like, what the hell was that? Like, I think I didn't like scream, but I gasped. And then because I didn't even know what liquors were. I don't think they showed them in the trailers. And I kind of went dark after I saw the first thing. I was like, I want this in my veins. I don't need to see anything more. I didn't even know the liquors were a thing. So first time I saw those, and that there's one part when you get up to the upstairs where like the evidence room is and stuff, and you can have Mr. X and liquors in a hallway. And I'm like, there's literally nothing I can do. If I shoot Mr. X to try to stun him, the liquors are going to hear me and come for me. If I try to walk quietly past the liquors, Mr. X is going to be like, hi, bam, welcome to the family, you know?
Well, and there's times where you're just like walking down a hallway and there's a liquor up above you and you don't even know it. And then he just goes whoosh and just like reaches down and oh my God.
I love that game. I love that game so much. What you got next?
All right. How many more do you have?
4, but 2 of them are kind of quick and they kind of tie together.
All right. Next one I'm going to talk about is PT.
Mm-hmm.
Because I found out about that game well after the fact. One of my buddies back in Connecticut, Tyler, was talking. I don't remember how we even got on the topic, but we were kind of like this, talking about like scary video games or something. And he mentioned it. And I don't even know if he had played it. I think it was just like he saw somebody playing it on YouTube or whatever. And so I checked it out and I'm like, this looks terrifying. I'm like, I kind of want to play this. So I watched enough of it to get what was happening, but I stopped. Like I didn't watch through the whole thing because I wanted to kind of be surprised. That game is just, it's almost like Resident Evil 7, but without. Are there even like jump scares? I think it's more just this.
No, there are jump scares.
There are?
Like when Lisa will jump out and grab you sometimes.
Oh, God.
It doesn't happen a lot, but.
Yeah.
And then, like we talked about, when somebody hacked it and they found she's right behind. Once you pick up the flashlight, she is behind you the whole time. Like, ooh, oh. And then you walk into a bathroom and then there's like an alien fetus going wah wah in the sink. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And then the radio is playing this recording and stuff. And I'm just like,
that game is just pure, just like uneasiness. Like, it's one of those things that you're like, am I playing a video game, or is this like some? Oh God, I don't know. That game just.
And there was weird stuff with it
with
too.
me.
Like you would talk into, or you would blow into the microphone or something to unlock something in there. I never beat it. I do want to go back because I'll never delete it off my PS4.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you were able to download it before it went away. But like, yeah, because I don't think they deleted it until all the Kojima Konami stuff went down. But like, I've never played a Silent Hill game, and it's still like, when I think about PT, I'm like, man, that was scary as hell. And I'm also like, oh, like, why is Konami so stupid? Like, I just wonder what that game what it actually would have been, because it's called PT because it's a playable teaser for Silent Hills. You don't know until you get out that you're Norman Fetus. I just wonder what that game would have been. It's don't. It's not Death Stranding. And I don't want Death Stranding to be that. Not just because I want those, Python and Cell can be wrong. I don't want that. Like, I want Death Stranding is Death Stranding. But I wanted Silent Hills also. Did you ever play any of the old Silent Hill games on PlayStation?
I don't think I did, no. The closest game that I played to a Resident Evil that was not Resident Evil was Dino Crisis on PS1.
How is that close to Resident Evil?
I mean, it was Capcom. It played exactly like Resident Evil.
Really?
It was just dinosaurs instead of zombies.
I never played Dino Crisis.
It was
okay.
Resident Evil
Really?
with like raptors instead
Well,
of
damn.
zombies.
Now I know why people always say, man, it'd be cool if they like brought that
it
back.
would. It would be awesome.
Well, I did not know
it's like,
that.
gotta find key. It's
Oh,
puzzle.
I'm thinking of, because I always think of Turok. That's why.
Oh, no, not that. But no, I never played any of the Silent Hills.
But yeah, PT, the most uneasy setting for any game ever. More than RE7 and 2 and any other game we'll talk about here. Like, well, one of them is really creepy, but I've never experienced anything like that. And it's also like you're just in a looping hallway, and it's like, how the hell do I get out of here? And then there's a fridge hanging from up here with blood coming out of it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And again, I've still never beaten it. I should just. That'd be a fun thing to do on Halloween, to just fire. Well, I'm going to be trick or treating. Never mind. But I almost want to just play it with a guy, like, because I tried doing it without a guide, and I was like, "There's like the phone is saying like 6 numbers." Did you ever beat it? Did you see it all the way
with
through?
a guide?
You did.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I could never figure out the phone numbers, and then I remember there was something with a clock and a picture, and then like the face would disappear, and then a face would disappear from another picture. I don't remember.
But there's also the bonus thing. You had to find all.
Oh, there was like letters
like
or
pieces
numbers
of a picture.
or something.
It was like a picture
yes,
that was torn
yes,
up, and there was
that's
like
right.
one in the plant. You had to like find all of
Yep.
them, and I don't know. But you didn't have to do that to beat it. I think that was like the true ending or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to go back and play that also.
Oh, just blah, blah. Yeah. All right, you want me to go next?
Yeah, go for it.
These next two kind of tie into each other, and they don't make a lot of sense, but stick with me. The Last of Us and Metal Gear Solid 5. I can't go one podcast without bringing it up. But seriously, though. The Last of Us, because the game itself obviously is not a horror game. It's not survival horror. It's nothing like that. But when I think back to The Last of Us, again, like you were saying, why RE7 was quote-unquote more realistic, The Last of Us, I'm not even talking about the clickers. I'm talking about the human enemies, the human interactions in that game with bad guys is terrifying because it is so real and it is so brutal and violent. And like, you feel like when you shiv somebody in the neck, it's like, this guy's just trying to survive in this crazy world too. You know what I mean? But like, I think back to like the stealth sections, and I can't wait. I do want to play this again, and now I've got more time. I forgot to say that on the other podcast, but now we got more time to play that before the second one comes out. The stealth sections in that with the people and with the clickers are absolutely terrifying. Like, I can remember being like Joel going through a dark building where there's only a couple spotlights or something, and you can hear the clickers making that noise, and you got to pick up a can. Exactly. Pick up a can and throw it over here to scare them, or no, to make them go over there. And then you try to, you're doing like the snake crouch walk behind them, and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, please don't hear me. And it's just like, obviously you don't think of that game as a scary game or a horror game, but those elements to me make it some of the parts of that game were some of the scariest gameplay I've ever had, because it did feel so real and grounded in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. To me, it's more just the obvious. It's the parts where you're in like dark areas and dark or not, like, since the clickers can't see, it's almost kind of, it doesn't really matter. But like when you're just sneaking around them and knowing they can't see you, but knowing you also have to be very quiet. And yeah, you're
like,
just
if you kick a can on the ground or something, you're
right
screwed.
behind that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Now,
the bloaters. Yeah, the bloaters. Oh God.
Now, the reason I also bring up Metal Gear Solid 5, stick with me, is really not all Metal Gear Solid 5. It's the first hour. It's the hospital. It's kind of like how I was just saying with Kojima with PT. Is like, what the hell is going on? The first time you play through Metal Gear Solid 5, you're like, what the hell is going on? I'm Snake. I wake up in this hospital. I got all these bandages on. I'm emaciated. I've got a Captain Hook for an arm. This guy's over here. His face is completely bandaged, and he sounds just like me. That's weird. I walk behind him. I see his butt crack. That's scary. But then you're going through this hospital. You have no weapons. I don't think you ever get a weapon in that first hour, right? It's just you have to sneak your way out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So you're like crawling through this hospital, and this XOF unit with who knows how many dozens of soldiers are in there, gunning down literally everyone in this hospital, hoping they can find Big Boss and kill him and be done with him. And it's just terrifying because you're Snake, but you're not even Snake because it's not even procure on site. There's nothing to procure. You just have to get out of this place, and it's terrifying. And then freaking Fire Volgan shows up, the man on fire, and it's like, what the hell's going on? And this freaking helicopter lights him up with missiles, and he's like, that was a mistake. And he's like, I don't even know how he shoots a fireball back at the thing somehow. You got what ended up being Psycho Mantis over here floating around, breathing through his gas mask, sounding all scary, and with his head like this. It's unlike anything you've ever done in a Metal Gear game, ever. And then the escape, when you finally get a weapon, you escape, you're driving. Do you even get to drive the gosh, I don't remember. Do you drive the ambulance out of there?
I don't think so.
I think it's just a cutscene.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you just see a freaking fire truck on fire going boom, 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 and it lands in front of you and you crash, whatever. And then you get out, Ocelot shows up, and you get on the horse, and then you finally get a weapon, and you're holding it with your Captain Hook, and the man on fire is on fire on a freaking fire unicorn thing with wings, and he's chasing you down, and you've got to shoot him off. And it seems like, am I even doing any damage? I don't know what's happening. Metal Gear games aren't scary, but that first hour, I get it was scary, but it was also just like I said with PT. What in the blue hell is going on right now? I have no idea. I don't even. I will never forget that first hour of Metal Gear Solid 5, ever, as long as I live. It probably was. Well, I don't know. It might have been the best part of the game, honestly.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it, the story was. I love the ending. I won't get into it here, but I love the ending. But the story was so lacking. The gameplay was fantastic, but the story lacked a lot when it comes to Metal Gear. That first hour was something I'll never forget.
Yeah, that I remember playing through that and just being just so confused and just having no idea what was going on. But there was definitely a sense of just terror, like when you're like hiding under the beds and you see them like walking by and they're like ripping open curtains and you gotta like move like.
And then remember when you go
and just feeling like helpless.
And you go and you play dead at that one point because you're in a hallway with dozens of people that are dead. So they're like, go, and Ishmael tells you, okay, play dead, and you lie down. And then they're coming around and they're shooting people to make sure they're dead, or if they move, they're shooting them like point blank. And I'm like, well, if this guy sees me, he's going to see I'm Snake and he's going to kill me. And then he gets to you and he rolls you over and you're so weak that you're just like, oh, I can't even. And he sees you, shines the flashlight in your face, and then that's when, I think that's when the man on fire, that's when Vogan shows up the first time. And they start pumping lead into him. It does nothing. That lets you get up and run away. Oh, no, you do get a gun at one point. You get a pistol at one point, because remember, you got to shoot the sprinkler to get him.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point, Ishmael is telling you, okay, pick up that gun. Shoot those guys down the hallway. And you're like, big bone.
No
big
spoilers,
bones.
but I'm going to do this voice.
What do you got next? I've only got one more.
My last one's kind of weird, and we've kind of touched on it before, but definitely not a scary game.
Okay.
But I remember, again, as a kid being like, just not terrified, just again, it's like almost just like uneasiness or something. Fade to Black.
Yep.
You had that?
No, but I knew that's.
Okay.
I was like, I know where he's going.
And the more I think about it, I think it was mostly the death scenes and stuff. Like if you step on like the trap, or if
that's what it was. That's 100%
it wasn't even the
what
gameplay. It was just like I don't remember much about the game, but I remember there being a bunch of traps and like electrified floors and like just all these different ways that you could die. And there's like a little mini cutscene showing each of them. And I don't remember Flashback really being like that. I don't think it was, but Out of This World was like, you had like all, like the leech thing that was there's like,
or
all
the beast thing would come up.
And, all the like death scenes and stuff. I don't know. Not a scary game by any stretch of the imagination, but I remember, I bet I didn't play that game ever more than like an hour. It was mostly just watching you play. And I think I didn't play it because it was just kind of scary to me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch you play instead. But that game always just kind of blah. I don't know.
But you know what that makes me think is what I really want to do is look up how easy it is to hack the PS Classic and put Fade to Black on there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know how easy it is to emulate games on a Pi from PlayStation 1. I feel like it's not that easy. But I would love to go back and play that again. It would be so weird to actually play with a controller, because when we played it, it was all keyboard. It wasn't even mouse. It was just ASDF.
No, that's right. Yeah, we didn't use the mouse at all.
It feels like it would be. It's made to be played with a controller. I'd love to go back and play
that game. Probably would be so much better with a controller.
That's why it should be brought back. You can easily remake that game. Give it the RE2 treatment. There's no one that wants that. I mean, they've re-released Flashback like a million times, but they've never re-released Fade to Black.
Right.
My last game you can comment on as well, and I'm glad I thought of it. Bloodborne. Again, not necessarily scary like Resident Evil games are scary, but the entire world is just like so well designed, but just creepy as hell. And the bad guys are all like 10 feet tall and skinny, and just and the way I felt helpless in that game. And I had a giant freaking axe and stuff. When I first started playing it, I was like, also all I knew was there were heart attacks, dumbass. But like I just felt like I was like me in that world with all these creatures and everything trying to kill me. And then getting to that first boss, the blood-starved beast, I was like, this is as far as I'm ever going to get. I can't beat this freaking
Cleric beast.
Cleric beast, sorry. What was the blood-starved beast?
That was some. I mean, it was in that game, but
it must be something I beat then, or I wouldn't know the name. Yeah, the cleric beast, like the 40-foot tall wolf thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like the size and the scope of it and everything was just so crazy, and everything in that game is so deadly. And not only that, when you do die, because you're supposed to die many, many times, you got to get back to where you were to get your blood echoes back, or good luck buying stuff and upgrading stuff and everything. It was just like, oh. I want a Bloodborne 2 so bad. I don't think we're getting it anytime soon, unfortunately.
No.
But I don't know. What'd you think about Bloodborne?
I don't think of it as being scary. I just think of it more as just being, I don't know. It's a tough one. Like, I almost feel like I was always kind of scared. It was almost like there are difficult games that you're just like Cuphead. Cuphead is a very difficult game. There's nothing scary about it. It's
That damn
the least
robot
scary game
boss
ever.
was scary.
But this game, it's kind of scary, and it's because of its difficulty. To me,
Yeah.
it's because of its difficulty more than anything else. I mean, the environment obviously plays into it, but it's just like, I never know if I go around a corner, I might bump into some enemy that's going to kill me in 2 hits, and I know once I see him, it's too late. I'm as good as
Well, it's
dead.
like if you go down that first step, and instead of going up the street where you see all the bad guys, if you turn left and go down that alleyway,
Oh, there's the big
a giant
executioner
yeah,
guy.
I'm like, what the hell is this? Why is this guy here?
Yeah, it's scary for a different reason.
Right.
And I don't really know how to explain it.
It's
but
unsettling.
It's
The
definitely,
setting
yeah.
of it and everything is just, and apparently the further you get into the game, if you pay attention to the story, it's a really cool story.
Really?
I just don't. I definitely didn't get far enough into it. I got as far as when I don't remember what it was, when the giant guys like walking around.
Gagnon. What's that? Father
I beat him.
Father
Gasquion.
Gasquion.
I beat him. But then remember, you get to that one area where there's those like giant dudes that are like walking super slow. I mean,
like
giant.
dragon there.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
ball and chain or
Yeah.
something. I didn't get much further past that.
Yeah. God, that's a really good game.
It was. I feel like I still should go back, but now I'm like, it would take me 2 hours to get used to that game again, I think.
Oh yeah, easily.
You know, because especially where I would be picking my save up, I'm like, okay. Just
Yeah, I would have
I
no
can't
idea
do
what I'm
anything.
doing.
Oh, I know it. I got into whatever the boss is when you go in the church. I don't think I beat that boss. And I can't even remember what it is, but there's like a lady in there or something.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. And yeah, that sucked.
I don't think I got by that.
I think that was one I had to like ring the bell or whatever and like call in help.
Oh, I should have done that. Yeah.
I think that's what I do to get past that, but yeah, I've thought many times about going and jump, but that would be one I would just start over. I wouldn't even bother picking up my save, I don't think.
Can you choose when you start a game? Can you pick up your save, but go to I don't remember. Can you travel from light post to light post?
Yeah.
You can. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that'd be one way. You could at least pick up your save and just go back to the first light post and get your feet wet again.
The issue with that game is I think I screwed up because every time I leveled up my attack. And I did that every single time.
Isn't that like Ernie said not to do that or something?
Well, he said to do it, but I think I took it a little too far.
Okay.
Because there's something, I don't remember what it is, but there's something about when you level up, you eventually max it out, but you can still level up.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is how it works, but in my head, it's something like every time you level up, you can put like 3 points on something. And I'd be like, strength, 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 strength.
Okay,
Strength,
right.
strength, strength. Blah, blah, blah. Or you probably just choose strength and it goes up by 3 or something. And eventually it doesn't get maxed out, but Steelers got another interception.
Are you serious?
But like,
I'm not talking to you.
and then like strength or whatever gets maxed out, but you can keep upgrading it, but you only get like a point every time. Whereas instead of putting it towards strength, I should have put it towards like power. There's something else that's basically strength. Like your attack strength continues to go up. But instead, I kept putting it towards that 1. So every time I was leveling up, I'm only getting 1 point for it when I should be getting 3. So I was not using that. That's why I think I would have to start all over, because now the enemies are so tough because I'm at level whatever, but I'm not as strong as I should be because I leveled up poorly. So yeah, I would probably just start over at this point, but who knows? I'll probably never do it.
Yeah, at this point, I think I'm just like, give us Bloodborne 2.
Yeah.
I did say there was an interview a couple weeks ago or something with Miyazaki, I think is his name, the director of everything. He said, it's not up to me if they make Bloodborne 2. He's like, I would like to make it, but it's not up to me. That makes me say, okay.
That sounds like maybe it's not happening.
This
I don't like
sounds
that.
Or if it does, it's like 2024 or something.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'll be like 100 years old by then. But yeah, Bloodborne's great. That was you did your last one?
Yeah, my last one was Fade to Black.
Cool. Short and sweet. These aren't always going to be an hour and a half. They could be. But again, these are just interstitials with other stuff we want to talk about. So, what did that say?
And yeah, let us know if you are down to hear us talk about just more stupid than normal crap. If it doesn't always have to be video games, we can break down all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
If that's what y'all want to hear, we'd be happy to do it.
Yep. So let us know. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being patrons. We don't need to go through the whole thing because you're already patrons. But seriously, thank you guys so much. I know we say it a lot, but it's because we mean it a lot. Thank you guys for helping us out here. And until the next time, Sean's got an itch. But until the next time, take us out.
Thank you for playing.